At 33 years old, Randi was a former United States Marine. She served for 13 years before leaving the Marine Corps in August 1994. She was also the mother of 3 children. Afterward, Randi moved from California back to New York with her children. She was starting over. On October 28, 1994, she left a relative's home in Greenburgh, New York, and she never returned. No one knew it at the time, but Randi's disappearance would remain unsolved for decades. As more time passed, concern continued to grow. Eventually, Randi was reported missing. About a week later, her family received a letter believed to have been mailed by Randi. The letter was then turned over to police. There were still no public answers about what had happened to Randi. Then, hundreds of miles away in Jacksonville, North Carolina, something would be found that no one could yet connect to Randi. More than a year later, a discovery was made in a wooded area in Jacksonville. Hidden among the trees were the skeletal remains of a woman. A surveyor had come across them while working in the area. Despite their efforts, investigators were unable to identify the woman. The case went unsolved. For years, investigators tried to figure out who this woman was, but her identity remained unknown. They did have a few clues, though. Some of the woman's clothing was still at the scene. They also recovered a shoe, a sock, subway tokens, and several distinctive pieces of jewelry. In 2003, investigators created a forensic facial reconstruction of the woman. Based on the information available at the time, they believe she was between 18 and 35 years old. They also believe she was Hispanic. But even with those clues, investigators still didn't know who the woman was. That would finally begin to change as DNA technology advanced. More than 2 decades after the remains were found, advances in DNA technology gave the case new momentum. A trace amount of Randi's DNA found on the postage stamp from the letter turned over to police helped investigators finally identify her.